Welcome back to WAPSI. So we can start a new section which is related to waves and optics. Okay. So the first question is, a luminous point object O is placed at a distance 2r from the spherical boundary separating two transparent media of refractive indexes n1 and n2 as shown, where r is the radius of curvature. Okay, here this is the radius of curvature. This is the radius of curvature and a particle is placed at a 2r from the pole. Okay. And if n1 is given, n1 is 4 by 3 and n2 is 3 by 2 and r is radius of curvature is 10 centimeter. The image is obtained at a distance from P. We want to calculate the distance of image from the pole, and the object is placed from the pole at a distance of 2r. Okay. So which equation which connect the distance n1, n2 and r and focal length? Okay, we need focal length. Which equation which connect all these data? Yes, I will write that for you. n2 by v minus n1 by u, which is equal to n2 by n1 by r. Okay. In the right side we can write as 1 by f is equal to n2 by n1 by r in here. So, but actually we do not need the value of f, because here we have all this n2, n1, r, u, v, all we have, and we have to find what v is to be find, and u they have already given the u. Substitute in this equation. Yes. So n2 is, n1 is 4 by 3 and n2 is 3 by 2 and r is 10. So 3 by 2v minus 4 by 3r. Actually, sorry, u is not r, it is 2r. So 3 into 2r. Actually, u is 2r, but I have to write the u as minus 2r, because using the sign convention, and the ray is coming from here and this is the pole. So in the direction of the ray we have to take as positive. So this should be positive and this part should be negative. Okay, that's why the 2r become negative. So minus 4 by 3 into 2r, which is equal to n2 minus n1 by r. Okay. So we can solve the equation. 3 by 2v plus 4 by 6r is equal to n2 minus n1. n2 is 3 by 2 minus n1 is 4 by 3 all divided by r. Okay, which is equal to 9 by 6 minus 8 by 6 divided by r, which is equal to 1 by 6r. Okay, so I am taking 3 by 2v on the left side and 1 by 6r minus 4 by 6r, which is equal to minus 3 by 6r, which is equal to minus 1 by 2r. Okay, then 3 by 2v equal to minus 1 by 2r. So v is equal to 2 and 2 can be cancelled, and v is equal to minus of 3r. Okay. So what is the value of r? R is given as 10 centimeter. So minus 30 centimeter is the v, and that means the answer. And what's the sign of this answer? That is negative. So that means the negative means it is from the left side, from the pole. Okay, that means it is opposite to the ray coming. The direction of the ray, it is opposite to the direction of the ray, incoming ray. So that means the negative side, which is towards the left, that is from the pole. Okay, from the pole, that means 30 centimeter in the rarer medium or the denser medium. Which one is greater, 4 by 3 or 3 by 2? 4 by 3 means 1.25. 3 by 2 means 1.5. Which is greater? 1.5. So 1.5 is denser and N1 is rarer. So 30 centimeter in the rarer medium, option A is the correct answer. Okay. So we can move to the second question. Okay. An equiconvex lens of radius of curvature 14 centimeter is made up. That means the radius of curvature of the two lenses. See the figure. One side is plane and the other side is bulged outside. That means convex lens. Okay, planar convex lens. It's a combination of two planar convex lens and made up of two different materials. So the refractive index can be different. It must be different. Okay, and the radius of curvature is 14 centimeter. Left half and right half of vertical portion is made up of material of refractive index. Refractive index is given 1.5 and 1.2 respectively as shown in figure. If a point object is placed at a distance of 40 centimeter, we have to place a object of from 40 centimeter from the pole, 40 centimeter from the pole on the left side. So we have to calculate in which direction. So this can be the negative and this can be the positive. Okay, and it is placed a distance of 40 centimeter from the pole. Okay, and the refractive index is 1.5 and 1.2. Okay, actually we can cut this the lens into two parts. Okay, in the one part it has a refractive index, other part it has no refractive index, it has in the other part it is air. Okay, so after cutting we have two equations. Okay, this will be the first one and this will be the second one. So a separate focal length can be calculated for this one and the next one. So we can derive the total focal length in the basis of 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. Okay, actually we can derive the equation for focal length like this. And what is f1? F1 we can derive using the same formula in the previous question. N2 by V minus N1 by U is equal to N2 minus N1 by R. Here N2 is the refractive index of the material. We can take the N1 as air. Okay, so N2 is 1.5. Okay, so 1 by F is equal to N2 minus, that means 1.5 minus 1 by R plus 1.2 minus 1 by R, okay, which is equal to 0.5 and 0.2, 0.7 by R. So focal length is equal to R by 0.7. Okay, so we have the R. Okay, we have the focal length, and 1 by f, we know that 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u, and u is 40 centimeter. Okay, and the radius of curvature is radius of curvature is 14 centimeter. Okay, we can substitute that. Wait a little minute. Okay, so 1 by v we have to find that, and u is 40 centimeter from the pole, so it can be minus, so 1 by plus 1 by 40. Okay, what is 1 by f? 1 by f is nothing but 0.7 by r, and r is 14 centimeter. So 0.7 by 14 is equal to 1 by v plus 1 by 40. So 1 by v is equal to 0.7 by 14. That means 7 by 140 minus 1 by 40. Okay, so 1 by 20. 7 by 140 means 1 by 20 minus 1 by 40. Okay, which is equal to 2 minus 1 by 40, that is 1 by 40. Okay, so V is equal to 40 plus 40. That means, what is meant by plus 40? Plus 40 is meaning that it is measured to the right. That means just opposite to the previous direction, which is in the positive direction, 40 centimeter. The image is formed. So which option is the correct one? The D option is the correct one. Okay, so we can move to the next question. A galaxy is moving away from the Earth. Okay, a galaxy is moving away from the Earth. So that a spectral line at 600 nanometer, that means the wavelength is 600 nanometer, is observed at 601 nanometer. Okay, so due to the motion, we are observing the 600 nanometer as 601 nanometer. So then the speed of the galaxy with respect to Earth is, we have to calculate the speed. Okay, so change in lambda by original lambda is equal to V by C. C is the speed of light. Okay, so we have, so V is equal to C into change in lambda by original lambda, and C is 3 into 10 raised to 8, which is multiplied by change in lambda is 1 nanometer by 600 nanometer, so divided by 600 nanometer, which means velocity is 10 raised to 6 by 2, which is 5 into 10 raised to 5. Okay, 5 into 10 raised to 5 meter per second. Velocity is 5 into 10 raised to 5. So which is mean by meter per second, which is equal to, we can cut the 3 zeros, therefore 500 kilometer per second. Which option is correct? 500 kilometer per second is option A is the correct answer for this question. Okay, so we can move to the next question. Coming to the next question, the fourth question. 3 Polaroid sheets are coaxially placed as indicated in the diagram. Yes. Pass axis of the Polaroid 2 and 3 makes 30 degree and 90 degree with axis of Polaroid sheet 1. That means the second one makes the 30 degree and the third one makes 90 degree. Okay, with the first one. Okay, not the second one. The third one makes 90 degree with the first one. Okay, not the second one. Okay, and if I0 is the intensity of the incident, I0 is the intensity of the incident unpolarized light entering sheet 1. Okay, the intensity of incident light is I0. Okay, the intensity of the emergent light through sheet 3, we have to calculate the intensity in the emergent light. Okay, so I0 is entering to the sheet 1. After entering the sheet 1, the emergent from the sheet 1, we get an intensity of I0 by 2. Okay, then it is multiplied by a cos square factor of the theta. It is 30 degree, so it is multiplied by cos square theta, that is 30. Then after entering through the second one, it emergent with a cos square function of theta, and after entering the third one, what will be the theta? It is 90 degree or 60 degree. It is 60 degree because by comparing the axis of the second one and the third one, the second one is already 30 degree tilted. Okay, and the third one is 90 degrees tilted. So 90 minus 30, 60 degree actually it is tilted. So cos square 60, which is equal to I0 by 2 multiplied by cos square 30 is nothing but root 3 by 2 square is 3 by 4, is multiplied by cos square 60 is nothing but the square of 1 by 2, so the 1 by 4, which is equal to 3 I0 by 32. So the answer is 3 I0 by 32. So we can check with the options. 3 I0 by 32 is option B is the correct answer. Okay, then we can move to the next question, the fifth question. We can move to the fifth question. Okay, in Young's double slit experiment, an electron beam is used to produce interference fringes of width beta 1. So what is the width beta? Beta is the distance between consecutive maximas or consecutive minima. What's the equation for beta? Beta is equal to lambda d by d. and lambda is the wavelength which used, and the capital D is the distance between the sources and the screen, and the small d is the distance between the source which is emitting. We have two sources, and a small d is the distance between the sources. Okay, so that means beta is directly proportional with the lambda wavelength. So beta 1 is directly proportional to lambda 1, and beta 2 is directly proportional to lambda 2. So what is lambda 1 and lambda 2? What lambda 1 is the wave which is produced by electron, and lambda 2 is the wave produced by protons. Okay, so how we can differentiate the wave on their electron or proton? Electron or proton can be distinguished on the basis of charge and distinguished based on the mass. So we have an equation lambda is equal to h by p, which is equal to h by mv. Okay, inside the question they have said that the velocity is same, correct? Now the beam is replaced by a beam of proton with the same experimental setup and same speed. Okay, the velocity is same in here. The fringe width obtained is beta 2. The correct relation between beta 1 and beta 2. Actually, see, the question is given that the velocity is same for the beta 1 and beta 2, and we have to make a relation between beta 1 and beta 2. So actually we have the relation between beta and the wavelength lambda, and lambda is related with the mass. So each wave, each beta, each width can be related to the mass of the wave, mass of the particles which we have used in here. So first is electron and the second is proton. So which one has the greater mass? The proton has the greater mass. So which one has the wavelength, greater wavelength? The electron has the greater wavelength. So beta 1 should greater than beta 2. So which option is the correct? Option D is the correct answer. Beta 1 is greater than beta 2 because the lambda 1 is greater than lambda 2 because m2 is greater than m1. Okay, so we can move to the next question, the sixth question. Okay, light of energy E falls normally on a metal of work function E by 3. That means the work function is given as E by 3, and the kinetic energy of the photoelectrons are, we have to calculate the kinetic energy, and light of energy E, that means the light of energy E is falling on the metal and work function is E by 3. That means a energy of E by 3 is deployed by the metal to eject electron. So E minus E by 3, which is equal to 2E by 3 is the energy of the particle, of the energy of the photoelectron. Okay, but if there is a collision occurred, or if there is another particle occurred, and the energy can be decreased. So but there is a particles of 2E by 3 and also another particles which have the energy lesser than 2E by 3 due to some unwanted collisions or some other interference. Okay, so it can be some person can think K is equal to E by 3, but it is wrong. It is from 0 to 0 to 2E by 3. Option C is more accurate because there can be some collision. Okay, there can be some energy disintegration factor. Okay, some external factor. So that will result some of the photoelectrons can have the energy which is lesser than 2E by 3. So the correct option is option C. Okay, so we can move to the next question. The photoelectric work function for photometal is 2.4 electron volt. Among the four wavelengths, the wavelength of light for which photo emission does not take place is. Okay, so that means the one of the option has low energy. Okay, energy means what? E is equal to h nu. That means energy is depend upon the frequency nu, and nu is c by lambda, h c by lambda. Okay, so energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength lambda. Okay, so when lambda increases, energy decreases. So the highest wavelength is given as 700 nanometer. Okay, so we can move to the next question. In alpha particle scattering experiment, if v is the initial velocity of the particle, then the distance of closest approach is d. Consider that the distance of closest approach is d. If the velocity is doubled, then distance of closest approach becomes. So we have to develop an equation with the velocity and the distance of closest approach. Okay, what is the relation between velocity and distance of closest approach is velocity square is inversely proportional to the distance of closest approach. So v1 by v2 the whole square, v1 by v2 the whole square is directly proportional to d2 by d1. Okay, so what happens to the velocity if the velocity is doubled? So v2 is 2v1, so 1 by 2 whole square is equal to d2 by d1. Okay, and the d1 is d, so d2 is equal to d by 4. Option D is the correct answer. Okay, the area of first excited state to ground state of orbit of hydrogen atom is 1:16, 1:4, 4:1, 16:1. These are the options, but we have to find the area. Area is proportional to r square. Okay, and r is proportional to n square, so area is proportional to n raised to 4. And the ratio of area of first excited state to ground state. Okay, so area of first excited state to ground state. So we have to find A2 by A1. That means in first excited state n is 2, 2 raised to 4 by, in the ground state n is 1, 1 raised to 4, which is equal to 16 by 1. That means 16:1. Option D is the correct answer. Okay, bye.